And sometimes we get caught up in like what we see on social media, and then we get competitive. We think, damn man, they got a family, or damn they got, damn they free, they single, he's single, or she's single. She, what I'm saying, she got this, she got that. But there, like J. Cole says, there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours. When was the last time you really panicked? Yeah. It was recently. It was like a couple, I'll say like a couple weeks ago, right? I believe that it came from just trying to do everything at once. You know what I'm saying? Like when you, at least for me, in my head, trying to do everything, and since I was little, feeling like I had to do everything for everyone type thing. It's like there was a part of me that I was instructed to do so indirectly, and then there was a part of me that wanted to be the fucking savior. You know what I'm saying? To just anything and everything. Ego. I mean, it was good intentions, but also selfish intent at the same time. But it's recognizing those patterns, like trying to be trying to be seen. There you have it right there. That's really what it boils down to. It's just trying to be seen. And that panic, man, of like this idea of what it would mean to be seen. And that panic of just wanting to do everything, creating this thing where you feel like you had to be everything to everyone, and you don't have to. Truly, and that's for all of us that get constant in productivity, like myself. Definitely always working on something, and recognizing that you're not able to do it all at once, at least. So what helps me when I do panic is to write shit down. Like I try to write out the day before it happens, make an agenda. At the same time, not look too far into the future, because I know that I lived there for a long time. So I try not to do it so much, like when it comes to my schedule and things like that, like giving my brain a time to just rest. For instance, laying off of like social media, like getting back to simplicity, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I try not to give my brain too much exposure to things, because it can get to you. You know what I'm saying? Like we're human, and we want to be a part of like the now. You know what I mean? And we don't have to. We ain't missing nothing, man. Like the thought of missing something is usually better than what it actually is. You know what I mean? It's funny how that works, but that panic, just feeling, I don't know, too much, taking on too much, feeling like, those negative thoughts, whenever negative thoughts come into the mind, realizing that you're in charge of your mind. Your mind is not in charge of you. And for, Jim Rohn has a statement where he says, when you first start something, you're in charge. After a year of doing so, or a while goes by, it's in charge. So it's like learning to control whatever it is that you're working on. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when you start something, you're the one that seems to be in charge. After a while, it shifts to catering to something. And when you try to do right, but doing right for yourself is going to piss off a lot of people sometimes, and you got to be willing to accept that. Now, when you've been raised to believe that you've had to do something to get love, that people pleasing can kind of interfere with your judgment at times on certain things, whether you want to do it or not. And when you can see it, when you can recognize it, oh, that's just, you trying to control somebody's opinion of you. subconsciously, that's all people pleasing is like trying to control how somebody else feels about you. But who are you? How do you feel about yourself? And you create a new you every day. So, I mean, you'll never be satisfied in that case, you know what I mean? But you breaking out of them toxic brain patterns, you know what I'm saying? Where you just had to be instructed to do certain shit, but be able to be the rebel, you know what I'm saying? Recognize that you are a rebel. Most of us are. We're being conditioned to do shit that people kind of told us that we should do. And it's only right that you do this, but you know, doing what's most effective is what's important, I believe. And I find myself being more effective doing what's best for me. And grown people are grown people shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that you take care of everybody else is by taking care of yourself. And that's for everyone, you know what I mean? So you have to see things like, you know, when panic does come, such as the situation I'm talking about, stop trying to do everything for everyone, man. You know, I get it. You want to be there for, you know, you're like your friends and shit, but you gotta be there for you. And not everybody knows how to listen. You know what I'm saying? So it's a rare skill to like just listen and not give advice and shit like that. So, you know, that's something I've been working on the past few years, is learning how to listen. There's times where my ego can get the best of me and I want to defend myself and shit and confrontation or something like that, you know, but truthfully, it's just about listening, because it's just that person's perspective, and that person's perspective don't have shit to do with you. But panic, yeah, it was some real panic. In a panic, I just feel like I couldn't move. I was freezing, you know. It's like, that's it, you know, like the ego is taking over. The ego felt like it needed to be more of something, or it felt like it was less of something. And the soul knows it just is, man. Like, it's fine what it is, you know, like remembering to love yourself unconditionally. And that is key. It's very key. Like, other people may not love you unconditionally because they don't know any better, because that's how they love themselves. They love themselves conditionally. So of course they're going to love you with conditions. But learning to unlearn the conditional love mindset and to incorporate loving yourself unconditionally is it's remarkable once you start doing it. And like I said, I pride myself on trying to incorporate this every day. So panic normally comes because conditional love, like you have to do this in order to receive love. But if you understand that no matter what we do, man, just being unconditional, like loving yourself unconditional, you don't fall into panic. But like the last time I really panicked, I was loving myself conditionally somehow, some way. I was caught up in my ego. I had to have an ego death. You're not able to kill the ego altogether, but daily, you have to kill the ego daily. You know what I'm saying? Like when those thoughts come in your head, negative thoughts like you're not this, you're not that, and what would it mean if you were that? Like learning to love yourself right where you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you don't love yourself in the present, you're not gonna love yourself in the future. That's the truth of the matter. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always going to be something in the future. And if you feel like, oh, I'll start loving myself when I get this, there's always going to be a new this. So it's like learning to love yourself right now in this present moment. And that's really all that matters, man. Like, don't worry about anybody else loving you, because it's just a reflection of you. You know what I'm saying? You don't need my validation. I don't need your validation. Just us, just yourself. You know what I'm saying? Who you see in the mirror, everything else will take care of itself. That's what I believe. But you know, in those moments of panic, I'm not loving myself, you know, properly. That's how I look at it when I look back at those times, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that I've been working on, you know what I'm saying? Since I started this journey for myself, really joining into like mental health and spirituality and all that stuff, man. It's like letting go of the ego and who I believe I should be, and learn to love, you know what I'm saying, what is. That's it. Learn, like, doing away with the should be and learning to love the what is, you know what I'm saying? Take life as it comes, and things in life ain't always gonna go the way you planned it. You don't have control of anything but yourself and your response to things. People are going to be people. People are going to say a lot of things that you probably don't like, and you have no control over that. It has nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with them. Nothing anyone does is ever about you. So it's learning to see that, this is all about me. That's it. That's all that matters. It's just me versus me in this life. And no one else is your competition but you yesterday. That's all. Bettering yourself. And sometimes we get caught up in like what we see on social media, and then we get competitive. We think, damn man, they got a family, or damn they got, damn they free, they single, he's single, or she's single. She, what I'm saying, she got this, she got that. But there, like J. Cole says, there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours. And one of the truest statements one can never hear, because we get caught up. We all do. We all get caught up in fascination. We've been like that since we were kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll get toys for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? When we're 6, and then we get toys for Christmas. When Christmas time come around, when you're 7, you looking for a new toy. It's always something new that you're trying to find, and it's learning to have appreciation for things. You know what I'm saying? Not so much focus on the possession of things. I think that's where we get caught up. Like, love is possession versus love being appreciation. Like, we're always looking for something new, but seeing that we are right here. You know what I'm saying? That's where it is. And I believe that panic tends to creep into our mind when we feel like we're less of something, and we're just enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally right now, you watching this, you're enough. Like, you ain't gotta do much of anything. I mean, of course you can better yourself, but you are worthy. You're worthy, and I'm worthy of love, and you know what I'm saying? Like, loving yourself, and that's really all the fuck that matters, man. Like, we may joke, we may laugh and do all kinds of shit, man, but it don't cost much to have peace, and we don't gotta do much to be, you know what I'm saying, just like worthy of something. There's kids that have so much joy overseas in like in countries dealing with famine and all that stuff, rib cages showing and shit, and they laughing and smiling. Meanwhile, we pissed off about not having Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, who the fuck are we? How privileged are we? It's just perspective about things, man. Like, you don't need a lot of things to be happy. You gotta choose to be happy. Things are not going to fulfill happiness long term. Short term, it might do it. Short term, but long term, that's something you gotta choose inside. It all starts with us. And so dealing with panic and how I dealt with it, you know what I'm saying, like trying to be everything to everyone. So learning to not be everywhere again. You know what I'm saying? Like, being everywhere is going nowhere. I think that's Seneca that said that. So it's just recognizing, we all guilty of these things, you know what I'm saying, that you just have to, so you let the ego step, relax the ego a little bit, manage that, manage the ego a lot better, and maintain composure. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like something that people have to see. That's something you can deal with by yourself, but being able to manage that composure when it comes to dealing with the ego can prevent panic in so many ways. So the last time I panicked was like a few weeks ago, and all I had to do was just manage the ego a little bit better, and that's what therapy and reading a couple books and 4 agreements can assist with that. So that is my story on panic. What seemed normal in your family when you were growing up, but it seems weird now? A few things, actually. I've recognized about family, and then, being educated and exposed to different things that probably will benefit the family a little bit better, at least in my perspective. You know what I'm saying? Other family members may feel differently, but being able to discuss, like us not talking about our feelings, and emotions and shit. Like literally assuming everything. Everything is a fucking assumption as far as like why a person is doing this or why this person feels that way. You know what I'm saying? Coming up with our own assumptions of things. That seemed to be normal, but it's very weird now to like instead of just assuming, we can just have the conversation straight on, and then we won't have to guess. But a lot of times there would be lies. There'd be like downplaying, you know what I'm saying, like your feelings and shit, because you felt like it was gonna fall on deaf ears. And there's times where I feel like if I recognize that you're very dismissive and shit, I don't care if that's family, friends, whatever, I'm not sharing shit with you ever again. I'm not. You know, you can just forget about it. Like that's that. I mean, and you know, in that sense, can be toxic as well. But it's like if I recognize that you are a very dismissive individual, you don't listen, you only see things like how you see it, then there's no point. And I very well may do that to some people too. So it's like I wouldn't blame them if they did that to me. You gotta do what's best for you. And it's just something that's something I saw to be weird. Yeah, that's something I saw to be weird. Another thing, like eating with that seemed normal, like not eating with the family. You know what I'm saying? Like there'd be times where, my pops worked a lot, man. You know, much respect to Pop for like hustling the way that he did for his family and doing whatever he had to do. However, it was normal to for us to eat dinner, just be me, my brother, and my mom. But being head of the household and having, you know what I'm saying, like that's a perfect time to discuss what happened in the day and learn about your kids, learn about your wife, and they can learn about you and kind of discuss things like what's going on with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. So we can talk about the sports, we can talk about the movies, and we can talk about gossip and all that shit. Like everybody cool with that shit. But if a motherfucker is like trying to explain why something bothered them by somebody in that home, you know what I'm saying, dismiss right off the back. And so what that does is make an individual retreat into their shell. And some people, when they're in their shell, they do shit, you know what I'm saying, destructive things, like posting to Facebook about their emotions, because Facebook is not going to solve the issue. It's not. Social media is not going to solve the issue. Your TikToks ain't going to solve the issue. The only way that you can get it resolved is if you resolve it yourself, within yourself, and not worry about that other individual, or you discuss with that individual. Like, you don't need the validation of your abuser. You don't. If that's what you feel. Like, if anything, you just need to recognize your triggers and how to battle your triggers when these things do happen. And so, you know what I'm saying, like eating with the family, like not eating with the family was something that I thought to be normal. And then to have, to grow up and see how people eat together, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just normal. It would be nothing for like dinner to be made, and then a lot of the times we all be in separate rooms and shit. Literally like a dorm. You know what I'm saying? But how you build communication is by spending time together. And that was something I learned from many people, and I'm grateful for it. There was one time, I'll never forget, my ex, right? She, what did she say to me? I was going home for something, right? I was going home just to visit family. And one time she asked me, was like, how come you never asked me to go home with you? I didn't think anything of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's normal, you know what I'm saying? That to me is normal, to like go home and not bring your significant other, like when you live far away and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? I was in Florida, you know what I'm saying? My family is like from Virginia and Maryland and North Carolina too. But it didn't dawn on me. Like, I understand, from her perspective. Now, granted, in the moment, I was in my ego and I didn't have much emotional intelligence, so I got defensive and responded like, cuz, you know, whatever, whatever I did, you know, as like a typical, you know, just your ego responding versus you know, reacting versus responding, you know what I mean? And I didn't think about it. But yeah, you know, like if you care about someone, yeah, of course. I mean, there's times where you can go home by yourself, but I mean, I just never thought to do so because no one really cared about what the fuck. I felt like, in my mind, I felt like ain't nobody give a fuck about what I felt. You know what I'm saying? So bringing somebody that I actually care for, you know, to the house, never even crossed my mind. Not to mention, I was going back and forth. And some people know how it is, man. You go back and forth, like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be with your ass tomorrow. I'm talking about bringing somebody to a fucking house. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, I look back at that moment as I'm telling you guys right now, and yeah, like, you know, like the question says, you know, something that seemed weird, to not want to, you know, to ask somebody to go, because growing up, we went to my grandma's house. It would be just me, my mom, and my brother. You know what I'm saying? Or just sometimes my mom and my brother would go because I'd be working. You know what I mean? But as for going on vacations and shit like that, or just going to my grandma's house, I rarely saw that. So to me, that's normal. You know, again, that's just how the dynamic was. You know what I mean? And my parents, I believe, did that based off of what they were exposed to growing up. So the thing is not using it as an excuse, but recognizing this is why this shit is being done, and how do we go about trying to incorporate it, if indeed we're trying to get closer, you know, because if we're fine where we are, then, you know, there's no issue and shit like that. But if we're trying to build relationships, we're trying to get closer in bonds and all that stuff, yeah, you want to incorporate things that involve you know what I'm saying, like other people, but it's got to be on your time though. Like, you know, don't let anybody force you to do shit you're not ready to do anyway. I don't care how long you've been talking to somebody, you know what I'm saying? They have this timetable, this expectation in their mind, like, oh, you know, I should have met whoever by then. Why? Why should you have? You know what I'm saying? What are you entitled to? You're not entitled to shit. Not me, not you, not nothing. You know what I'm saying? Again, even the timetable we have on marriage and shit like that. You think about all these people that felt like, oh, I should have been married by 25, only to be involved with somebody that they're ready to divorce. You know what I mean? Like, we're in a rush to create chaos because we don't know enough yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like learning to, again, you gotta learn to love yourself, man. You gotta learn how to be in a relationship with yourself before you can be with anybody else. That way you don't project your insecurities onto other people. You understand that you're responsible for how you feel. No one else is responsible for how you feel. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, like those things I feel like is like, you know, that seem to be normal. But, you know, looking back, it's kind of weird. I'm trying to think what else was seen normal. Oh, yeah. Hosting, not, you know what I'm saying? Like parties and shit. That's another thing. I know for sure, cause like I'd be in the military and even out of the military. And it's like, yo, Mac, you don't never invite me over to the house. Like, honestly, it's normal to, I don't get me wrong. We had people come over the house, like coming up and shit like that. But as far as parties and stuff happening quite often, it didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't see much of that. That was more like my grandma's house. But my grandma's house is more like, you know, it's like the place, it's a central location. You know, everybody feels like they're home. My grandmother is the backbone of the family, you know what I'm saying, on my mother's side, you know what I'm saying? So, like, she's the center location, it's Grand Central Station, you know what I'm saying, where people go to get revived or even try to escape too, because, you know, you just as much as you feel love, you can also feel pain as well. So it's like, I gotta get the fuck away from it. So people that probably live there are like, I gotta get the fuck away. And then the people that don't live there are like, man, if I can just go see, you know what I'm saying, go here, I just feel like that thing. It's crazy how like the same place can push off the same things. And I'm sure that other people's families got the same shit going on too. But yeah, with the parties, You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't really throw those things. So, and as far as like inviting people over, I didn't think to do it. Honestly, I feel like I believe that I was brainwashed by leaving the family and then getting into the military, and I just moved like a robot. You know what I'm saying? Like, to control the anxiety of that fear of leaving everything that I loved. You know what I mean? Like, and just moving in a very, everything had to be structured. And if it wasn't, then it's like this tremendous amount of anxiety that would shoot at me. And I didn't know how to control it. I think I'm still managing, trying how to control this shit. And if it's not like I'm moving according to structure, then I panic and freeze. And but when I say all that, is like not being instructed on how to host parties and things like that. Was like a lot of times where I didn't really have, folks over. You know what I mean? If it was like me and my best friend, like, oh, dog, you want to come through? But as far as throwing like a fucking bash where you play games and, you know what I'm saying, drinking games and all that stuff, like, I didn't do much of that in my 20s. One, I grew up not being able to trust certain people. Like, again, we didn't value like what people's things and shit. We would do shit. We would steal shit from family members. It'd be playful and stuff, but it's still stealing, like CDs or whatever. Like, if my cousin had like an Outcast Criminal shit, he stole my shit, so I stole his shit, that type of thing. But it's like we would see each other, quite often. Like, next time we would see each other for like go to my grandma's house or something, like bring it back. And we're like, man, nigga, you stole my shit, and we laugh about it. But I believe that had a tremendous effect on my ability to trust, and I still deal with trust issues. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more not just trust in people, more so trust of judgment. You know what I mean? Learning to trust your own form of judgment. And like, if you're judging a situation well enough and effectively, instead of like learning what's familiar versus what's best for you. And when you always go towards what's familiar, you tend to get the toxic shit, and that's that's where the fear comes in. You know what I'm saying? It's like learning to trust yourself to make better decisions, and that comes with time. But you got to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to not run from your fears. We're human. You know what I mean? It's painful. That shit, it's like you avoid going, anything painful, you try to avoid going around. You know what I mean? But learning to face your fears and push through. That's how you leave the comfort zone. But I mean, these are some things that, that I thought to be normal in the family, that I would learn, that I look at now, and I'm saying I can look at as being like weird or not even weird, just abnormal. I'll say that. They're just abnormal, something that could be detrimental to the family unit, and something that possibly can work on going forward with future families and the people that you love. So yeah, those are a few things right there. What do you look for in a partner? Like, I feel like I know for sure I've said this in a previous show, but as time marches on, you update. You know what I'm saying? You update as far as like from your own experiences and exposure to shit. I was looking for a partner when I'm ready, because right now I'm still looking at myself, still examining myself and building myself up, and building more of that confidence in oneself, and creating a kingdom for I would say a young lady of my choosing to enter at some point in time. However, what do you look for in a partner? Peace. A woman who understands that you complement a man's life. You don't complicate a man's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so any insecurities that you have, fix that shit on your own, right? Fix that shit on your own. Do not push that onto a person. Say, I mean, yeah, and it's it's interbeing, interchangeable. Same thing for men. You would not want to be with a man that's just constantly putting his fucking insecurities on you. Like looking for in a partner, like values an individual that values me. You know what I'm saying? Like she doesn't see me as possession. She really does appreciate me. She understands that love is about appreciation. She understands that she doesn't come before the purpose too. And that's going to be hard for a lot of women to understand because they want to be number one in your life. Fucking, again, the narcissist, you know what I'm saying? They're just, everything is about them. Instead of understanding like a man on his purpose takes care of everything else. A man who is focused on the woman, the empire will fall every fucking time. You can look through history, you can look at any man that had something, and then once he started putting his focus he made a woman his focus, everything faltered. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean, and that doesn't mean that you don't have a love for your woman, right? It just means that you have things under control and you understand your purpose as man. Because if you think for a second that your love is going to keep a woman, you have been sadly misguided. You know what I'm saying? And speaking from experience, love is not enough. Love is not enough. It's not. There's a lot more that goes into it. And when you're young and you're in Disney mode, you're blue pill, and you think that I'm just going to love her and she's going to just take all this love and we're gonna live happily ever after, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's much more to it, and that once you start to educate yourself and you learn about providing, you know what I mean, and being and learning what it is to be a man. See, there's Jack Donovan kind of touches on this in his books. I forget the name of the book, but he's Bravery of Men, I think. And he's like, there's one thing of being a good man, and there's another thing of being good at being a man. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You have to be great at being a man. And you just look through, you study history, you study the evolution of man, you study the evolution of masculinity, and how it's shifted, and how our women have, because the lack of masculinity in our men and in the home, and lack of men being in the home, we tend to, our women are like, I gotta pick the ball up. And you can appreciate a woman, like that's just a woman's nature, man. Like, honestly, it's just a woman's nature. For like, if shit's fucked up, we're still gotta push on. We gotta move on. We're gonna, despite all the pain, all that shit, we're gonna go forward. Only thing is like, it gets very toxic when you hone on to that masculinity and you just exert that shit, and you bash a lot with another man who has masculinity. And ain't no man worth his time and understands his value and all that other shit is going to tolerate a woman exerting her masculine energy all the time. Because we both have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a thing where only men have like feminine energy or only women have masculine energy. We both have both, you know what I'm saying? The masculine energy and the feminine energy. So it's all about how you balance it, how you manage that shit. Like when you got your kids, like a mother using her masculine energy for her kids, it makes more sense because you need to be stern and assertive with them so that you keep them on the straight and narrow. When you're at work and you're running a company, using your feminine energy will get you ate the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But when you are engaging with your partner, whatever, you know what I'm saying, you call it. Like, and again, this is for heterosexual couples, by the way. I mean, I'm sure it can apply to like to, you know, to the gay community and all that stuff too, but I haven't really dabbled much into that. But I'm sure if I did, then, you know, I'd have more information in regards to that. But I'm just speaking on heterosexual couples. So like when you are engaging with a man in a relationship, obviously, I recommend that you date a man that is that prides himself on masculinity. And yeah, I get the, you know, not the overbearing, you know, form of toxic. I mean, I would call it toxic masculinity. The issue is our lack of masculinity, not toxic masculinity, but lack of masculinity. We have to have that, and women have to learn to exercise that feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you trying to be tough in hopes of getting a man that's tougher. That's not how attraction works. It's polarity. So I say that, you know, I said a lot on that subject as far as like looking for a woman to be feminine. Is really what I'm going with. I can go on that for hours on end. As you know, I tend to ramble a lot about everything. But so peace, feminine, value, you know, values about your appearance, you know what I'm saying, as far as like how you carry yourself, you know, as a woman, you know what I'm saying, there's time and place for, you know, again, cursing and shit like that. Just don't talk to no man like no fucking man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's another thing right there. That is a turn off for me. Like, women that talk like, you know what I'm saying, like the fellas. You're not. Like, just imagine for, again, you know, obviously you got, okay, perfect example. For some women who have gay friends. Now imagine a guy that you were trying to date, that you were attracted to. He talked like your gay friend. Do you find that attractive? It's literally the same shit when women, you know, like talk like bruh and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's not knocking it, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously you do what you want to do, but as for attraction, don't expect, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're trying to attract me, I'm turned off by it, because I'm, you know, again, what I find to be attractive, what I find to be sexy is a woman operating fully in her feminine form, and that's just, it's something about it, you know what I mean? Like, it's something about a woman that can operate, that trusts herself, that has so much like pride and courage, that she can operate in her feminine form. Because it's hard. I get it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and motherfuckers be trying to come for you when you perceive yourself as weak, or like in your feminine form. But it's recognizing who you're around, and I get it. We've all been through shit. We all have been through shit, so of course we try to protect ourselves. But if you're seeing on a consistent basis an individual operating, again, creates a safe, creates, you know what I'm saying, like a safe environment, that energy, you feel, energy doesn't lie. We know this. Energy doesn't lie. Your nervous system will never lie to you. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you're around an individual and they make you feel safe and protected and all that shit, why the fuck would you try to challenge them with your masculine energy? Just tell me why. They haven't tried to tear you down, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. You don't have to do that. Like, I get it. There are people in the world that have their own, like men with their own insecurities, and they try to tear down women with their masculinity. And yeah, that's not masculine to me. That's some beta shit. Real talk. Like, to me as a man, that's beta shit, man. Like, being secure within yourself, you don't have to tear down anyone. That's not what a man does. A man will never tear down another man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what we do. Not a masculine man. Now, again, you know what I mean? Like, the men that operate in the beta or the feminine, yeah, they'll downplay another man to make it, like, to make themselves feel good about themselves. You know what I'm saying? But there's enough life to go around that you ain't got to do that shit. A woman that values family, right? She values family. She values her time. She values my time. She is patient, for one. What look for in let's see what else, man. Race doesn't matter. You know, the race doesn't matter to me as far as like a preference goes and all that stuff, man. I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? That like there's, it's more so body parts, you know, again, and that all boils back to the childbearing. Like men that tend to like big titties, big thighs, big asses and shit like that is because that was like, you just knew that it'd be fitting for child rearing. You know what I mean? That's why we are attracted to big titties, big asses, and big whatever. You know what I mean? Everything but big stomach. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I don't think any woman just cares for the stomach either. You know what I'm saying? Some of us do have it. You know, especially at this age, from drinking and eating shit we ain't supposed to. But of course, you know, effort goes a long way as far as getting that shit down, and that's you can call it shallow. We know what the fuck we like. All of us do. We can sit there in front and all that shit. But attraction is attraction. There's this thing where people are in marriages and you see them out in there. You know what I'm saying? Like you might see a really, really skinny guy with a really, really obese woman and shit like that. And I'm not denying love and anything like that, but as far as like attraction, they very well might like it. So I can't even knock that too. So I gotta scratch that shit. But I'm just saying that attraction, you know what I'm saying? Like some of us know what we're attracted to, and that's it, you know? So, I mean, a woman definitely that values her health, and that will, and that, you know, that goes hand in hand as far as like worrying about how how you carry yourself, because long term with like a lot of obesity is not going to be good for you, you know what I'm saying, in the long run, as far as being around for your kids. And that's the thing, because, you know, with more weight and all that stuff, you know, we get health issues, obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, black people, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to care about our health just a little bit more, especially, you know, they get on us black men about not going to the doctor. Yeah, go to the doctor, care about your health, like maintain all that stuff. She's not in competition. You know, a woman that's not in competition with you, she's not always trying to one up on you. That's another thing to look for in a woman. Like, it's not like trusting a man to you know what I'm saying, he's not gonna come at you like always trying to dominate you. I mean, if anything, I'll be assertive and making decisions and all these things, you know what I'm saying? But I take into account exactly what the woman, like I say, if there's a date or some shit like that, I take into account what that individual may be interested in, but then I ultimately decide exactly what is going to be done. You know what I mean? And I believe that's just I think that's just formality of dating. It's formality of being a masculine man as well. You know, just learning as I go along, if you will. You know, there's nothing. There's no ending to it, you know. I'm just still learning how this goes. But what else do you look for in a mate? Cooking, like I said, that's okay. We can learn. Like, I'm still learning. Like, I'm not gonna sit here in front like I'm the best fucking chef, you know what I mean? But it's like learning to cook, like effort. That's it. Honestly, everything boils down to effort. So like looking for in a mate, effort. You know what I mean? But like I said, take pride in appearance. Yeah, you know, learn how to be a lady. Make yourself be feminine. Like, get your nails done. You know what I'm saying? Get dolled up. You know, like, you don't have to wear makeup. But if you're gonna do it, don't look like a clown. You know, don't do it to the point where your original face is unrecognizable. Like, I would say just enough. What else, man? Yeah, just obviously not violent. Not violent, not want to start unnecessary debates, confrontation. That's toxic as fuck. It's draining. So yeah, what look for in a partner, a woman that's not draining, that does not try to project her insecurities onto you, creates situations in her head, but just not no need to suffer twice. You know what I'm saying? We suffer in imagination more than we do in reality. I'm looking for in a partner. I mean, an individual that's she's open-minded, like loves to read. She has no problem showing her smile. She doesn't feel, the need to be so protective and shit, because that's not gonna help. I think about it, if we're both in a relationship and we don't trust anything, we're not going to go but so far. You know what I mean? And that's holding myself accountable too, because I'm just as guilty when it deals with trusting individuals and like shutting off and all that stuff. It's like learning to see these things in yourself and and going forward. One that is supportive, really, truly supportive, and doesn't make doesn't make everything about her. Like, doesn't make the conversation about herself somehow, some way. It'll tell like you're doing something and then she finds a way to make it about her. Like that's that, again, these things, like looking for a unicorn when it comes to like asking for what you're looking for in a mate and shit like that. Truly, it's like looking for a unicorn. One that is like open, like I said, it's open to different shit when it comes to like movies, open to being led. That's really, really big for me. A woman that doesn't allow herself to be led by a man that's definitely worthy of leading should be, yeah, there's no point. Like I wouldn't even pay you no attention, honestly. Like I will fall the fuck back. And that's just what it is, because I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's more than enough people to go around. You can find what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like, if you want a man that you're able to control, I promise you, there's more than enough. And I'm sure that you see your friends and relationships with those guys, and it pains you. But somehow or another, the way you're structured, you still go about doing that shit. You want to control how a man is. But nevertheless, but I mean, these things is what I see. A few things I would say is C4. And like in a potential partner, I mean, one that is ambitious, has their own like ideas for business, like for her own business. You know what I'm saying? Because I know for sure, for me, I'm definitely going to be involved in I am involved in like a lot of businesses, like of the mind. So it's like having something that she wants to do, being able to be nurturing to a child. One that's willing to go to therapy, one that's open about spirituality. If she wants to believe in Christianity or whatever she wants to believe in, that's fine. But she doesn't tear down a man. She doesn't tear down the man she's with because he may not believe in this, or is not judge, so judgmental about such things. But what else, man? Has to love going to the beach. Has to love the water. Because that's where get revitalized by Oceana. Oceana, she will take away all your negative energy and be able to sit with that. She's able to sit in silence and doesn't have to be entertained. She can just sit in peace. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things, but I think I touched on just a little bit right now. I'm sure there will be this question in another form going forward. But I mean, for right now, those are a few of those attributes that I would say I look for in a partner when it comes to women.